This is just a brief follow-up to the last video I did. I was just thinking a little more about how the Lord arranged that. I had to cut it short because my kid, my 5-year-old was trying to get a bowl out of the cabinets, and he fell off the counter, and he was screaming bloody murder, and nobody was coming to help him. And I finally heard it. And he didn't know where I was. I was outside. Oh, poor little guy. Anyway, um, I was just thinking about how the Lord arranged that last night, because while I'm praying for this guy, what would have been a secret event turned into quite a public scene, because this guy in the Porsche, he's got this it's a orange Porsche. The thing is hideous, but obviously it's very expensive, and he's got this cigar, and he's honking too, I think, and he's this loud mouth, "Hey, music man." Meanwhile, the cellist, you know, he he has to get up and set his cello down and go get the money from the guy, because I'm clearly busy and he knows what I'm doing, right? And that honking of the horn would have gotten the attention of all those people at the patios, right? If they weren't watching before then, they were watching at that point. So I think that's funny how the Lord arranges it so that you can't be hidden. And, I just realized that. And then also, while I was describing, there's these restaurants and patios, and we're across the street having this experience. That sounds awfully like the dream that my sister shared with me about the people who were sitting ready to go up across the street from the businesses, and people from across the street come and ask her her dreams. This guy came from that direction. He came across the street. I'm not saying that this is the fulfillment of her dream. I'm saying that the Lord is speaking through it, and I'm saying, "Yeah, wow, Lord, you are something else." God, in his infinite wisdom, can arrange all of the situations necessary to bring about something wonderful. And see, we this is all by the working of his power and his wisdom. And we're so frustrated and impatient we want to go home. We don't understand the fine nuance of the work of the finger of God, that he is orchestrating an event that, when you read like in the Old Testament, Moses delivered the people of Israel with great power, signs and wonders, right? And then Joshua led the people into the land with great power. And then Solomon built the temple, and there was a great display of power. The Spirit filled the temple, all these very visible things. That is good. But when the children of Israel were brought into captivity in Babylon, and then were to be brought back into the land, God did a much more, and I've talked about this before, nuanced work. What we see in Esther and Ezra and the minor prophets is not outward supernatural displays, but an inward work of grace that's much more fine and refined. Instead of the fist, God's using a paintbrush, right, to paint his grace on that situation. And, it's in the favor that Nehemiah had with the king, so that when uh, the king uh, looked on Nehemiah and said, "Hey, what's wrong?" And Nehemiah said, "Well, my people, and it's time to build the temple, And Daniel prayed and got that vision from the angel. That's pretty dramatic, but still. Uh, then they're trying to build the temple, and they're meeting all kinds of frustration from natural sources. How long did God have to build all the relationships to make all that happen? And then he stirred up a group of people, and they came and built the temple, and it was small. It didn't look like much, but in God's eyes, it was glorious. And the people who had seen the original temple all shouted and wailed and wept, and the ones who saw the new one and hadn't seen the old one were all shouting in excitement, and you couldn't tell the difference between the wail and the shouts of excitement, it says. And there was sorrow because people were looking for the outward glory and didn't see it. But then there was joy among those who realized that this was still just as significant. And that's what I'm talking about, is there is a fine work in this last minute thing? What is he doing to prepare all of our hearts to be grace people and set us free from legalism and get us ready? He's doing such a refined work in the church right now. Um, it's about to get noisy here. People just got home. I got to go. Talk to you later.